Mindfulness, I found mindfulness probably about 8 months ago. I was involved in delivering a workshop to a number of service users. And when they first explained it, I thought, this is a load of old mumbo jumbo. It's Americanized, kind of, it's fairyland, sort of fairy dust stuff. But actually, that was my ignorance, if you like. And it's one of the most powerful tools that I adopt now. I make it relevant to myself. So some people use mindfulness and think of a balloon in their stomach and imagine it visually going in and out. That to me is far too abstract, and it's not clear cut. So the way that I do it is I will do participate mindfulness, it's called. So I might get, those magic eye images that you stare at, and actually when you stare at it, it's an image that you can't initially see. I will do something like that. So again, that's focusing my mind, not worrying about whether I've got 500,000 jobs to do or, oh my God, I don't understand X, Y, Z. I'm just focusing on that. Or I will go for a walk, or I will do my breathing. Breathing is a really simple one, but really effective. So if I am starting to feel anxious and I can feel those physical sensations, pins and needles and things, I will just literally close my eyes. I may put on some mindfulness kind of different music or monologue type stuff. So somebody may be talking, it's like a hypnotic type voice, and they'll be saying, imagine the breath going in your body, and as it goes down your body and it enters your stomach. It's about focusing, but even if you don't want to do that, if you just slow your breathing down, naturally your thought processes will start to slow down. And the one thing I would say as a bit of comfort to people is, with anxiety, physically your body cannot stay at that level for a long period of time, because it just can't. It's physically impossible. So mindfulness for me is about focusing the mind on something else apart from, you're not running away from what's there, you're distracting it until you're able to deal with it in a more conducive level that actually you can move it forward in a productive manner rather than be over-consumed by it. Another one that we did was, there was a group of people, and I said, right, we're going to tell a story. Everybody's going to be a part of that story, and you all have to say one word. You're allowed to say one word. It could be a long word, short word. And it didn't follow, and actually it became quite comical, because somebody would be talking about, I don't know, what did they say, yesterday, and then somebody said Quidditch. It's completely irrelevant, but actually what it did was, the point and the premise behind it was, people just completely got absorbed in that storytelling, and actually started to laugh. And what people were saying was, when we fed back after the session, was they said, I don't know when the last time I laughed. A very simple format, and it goes back to Dr. Kabat-Zinn, who kind of popularized mindfulness. It's Buddhism meditation, but we can westernize it and make it more that it's not necessarily about, as people imagine, you sitting there for hours on end looking into space and just breathing, because that works for some people but not for everybody. And I try and preach it to everybody. I try and say to my parents, if they're stressing about money, okay, you can't change the fact that you might not have as much money coming in as you used to, but what you can change is your reaction to it. And certainly one of the projects I'm involved with called Tea and Talk, which is going into corporate organisations, we might not be able to prevent redundancies, but what we can do is prepare people for that situation taking place, and then hopefully they will be able to keep their mindset well enough that they will be then able to go and apply for alternative jobs, rather than be made redundant and just basically cripple themselves through entering into depression. And it's about that mental health. Everybody's got mental health. Whether it becomes a problem is about how you actually educate yourself and understand how mental health works.